I think I finally hit the point where I've gone from a histrionic use of social media to a more pro-social use of social media. And I think the difference is, by histrionic I mean using social media posts across different platforms to get attention in general, just for like me, and not even necessarily like me and my life and what I'm doing, but just me, because I'm missing that for some reason. And the flip side is like the pro-social one. It's connected to something more, and it's been an interesting kind of transition, because I think starting from, okay, you can look at, all right, I want more views and I want more attention for what I'm doing, and there's a temptation to look at the sort of metrics and methodologies that already exist for, like, oh, if you want views, you need these kind of hashtags in this position, and you need blah 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 blah, and that's all, or it's like you need to hit trending topics and all that. And that's important, but ultimately it has to really connect to your life, or it's going to be empty. And there was one quote that hit me from this LinkedIn group that I joined. There's an author who invited me, and some kind of quote like, leaders don't share less of the vision as time goes on, they share more. And there was something that hit me about that, where my projects are getting bigger and my collaborators are getting more numerous, but my vision is singular. And so there's like a kind of responsibility that's come in with, when I make social media posts, it's important that I include what I'm doing. I show what I'm doing, I show what my vision is for it, what my real purpose is, and also how it connects to the people that I'm already working with. And that has got a lot more people on board, so that when I get views and when I get attention and when I get likes for that stuff, it's meaningful to me, meaning I connected with the people I'm already connected to. And yes, there is some additional support and attention that comes from it, which is interesting, but it's finally in a place where I can post something, get have it be well received, and it feels good, where it used to feel off because I was doing something either that wasn't connected to my real vision, or that wasn't really connected to some people, or I was just doing it for a histrionic purpose, just some kind of emptiness of it. And now that's really changing. So now another idea I was thinking of that relates to Enneagram instinctual variants of self-preservation, sexual, and social is this. So we have social media, and everyone knows what that is. It's a well-defined term. Social media is commonly, a platform online where you post some information and it'll go to groups of people, large groups of people, very often the entire world if they wanted to see it. That's social media. So looking at the other two instinctual variants, I think you can, when you have information in your life, maybe we can split it up into instinctual variants. So social media is the stuff that you want to share with everybody, or at least large local groups. Sexual media, I would say, that's the one-to-one instinctual variant. Sexual is something you need to share with one specific person. So if you have some information that needs to be shared with one other person, maybe that can be defined as sexual media. It's not just Pornhub, which is more of a social media, kind of. But then self-preservation media is stuff that is just for you, like notes you take in your notepad, or things you put in your calendar, notes to yourself that don't need to be shared and go anywhere else. And I think there might be a wisdom to these three categories and putting the aces in their places, meaning putting the right kinds of media in the right places. So if you have a piece of information, is this self-preservation media, means it goes to you? and it's for you to tell you. It's your own notes or your own rules about your own life. It wouldn't help to share it with another or with others, because it's ultimately something that you have to remind yourself of. And so sometimes I record a video and it's like, it's something that's really important to me, but I haven't really manifested it in my own life yet. So giving it to other people might not be appropriate yet, because it's preaching things that I don't practice. So there might be some. There's a few unuploaded videos here that are probably better as self-preservation media. They're for me, because they haven't even sunk in here yet. How could they ever sink in somewhere else? Next, sexual media is something that you want to share with one person, and social media is what we know. So sexual media comes in the forms of private messaging services, text messages, Facebook Messenger, things like that, DMs, PMs. And I think that it's important, and I remind myself this in a self-preservation media sense, that sexual media and social media are important to keep a distinction between, because sometimes I really do things as a one-to-one personal conversation with people, and it's not something that needs to be broadcasted, and all social media is broadcasting in a certain sense. And I think when I'm not feeling enough attention, I really haven't felt like this in quite a long time, when I'm not getting enough attention for something, I might try to take some of that sexual media and turn it into a social media format. I think there's a point where that where there is an appropriate time to do that. So, for example, with music collaborations, you'll have a one-to-one collaboration with someone, and that it remains in a sexual media context. It's one person, another person, creating a conversation or creating an art piece or creating something like that. And then after a while, it can be shared to social media, like, look what we made, or look what we talked about. And then it goes to that forum. But I would say, especially for introverts, that there might be movements of media that go from self-preservation media to sexual media to social media. And there are stages here. So there's the thought that arises within oneself, and you have to be able to give your own ideas room to grow enough for them to survive at all before they can even get to the second person. Even if it's just a few seconds in your head. Don't kill your own ideas. Don't be your own worst enemy. That's the first thing you have to clear out. So within the Garrison system, Raktashli, this is the sense this. Self-preservation is sense this. Certainly, it's within. And going forward into Octadal and Makthiat, I'll have to look at the similarities there. I don't want to make any statements at this time. So yeah, so I guess this video is ultimately a proposal of those three terms. Social media, of course, already exists, but self-preservation media and sexual media as well. Do you know the difference? Does the difference make sense to you? And is it something that you're using appropriately?